I don't use
Action.
it. I don't use it. I do it just for shit.
You should.
See?
Wow.
I already did it.
Gosh, I think you said shots.
I think I said shots and giggles.
Shots.
Man. It's going to be one of those episodes,
We've
I can
already
tell.
started off coming in hot.
Coming in hot, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's been yet another week.
Another week. Down in the books.
Down in the
January.
books.
I saw a meme today and it said, does anyone else feel like it's January 74th today? And I was like, 100% do.
If
it's dragging.
Oh my God. Yeah. If I had a calendar that could go that high up, yeah. Every day would be the 74th.
I think that November and December just fly because there's the holidays and so much going on. And then we hit this terrible time of nothing to look forward to and cold and dark. I'm so morbid. No, I mean, like nothing, it's not warm. There's no holidays.
Sorry, January.
Yeah, womp womp. And it's just hard. And then it drags. I'm like, are we in the 20s yet? Oh my God, thank God. What day is it now?
The bright spot, literally bright spot. I noticed when I got up this morning that it's getting brighter out earlier.
Right now I'm noticing it.
Yeah.
Because it's not pitch black in here. It's almost
right.
Like evening.
This is a very nice, I wish I could turn people around to see, like, you have a really nice view of the Philadelphia skyline. It is very pretty.
I love it. I don't take it for granted. When I first moved in here, I had my face pressed against the glass on a regular. Just at nighttime, almost more like so lit up. And I was like, oh, I live here now. Ow.
People walking past are like, she just moved in. You can tell.
Is she okay? She's near the glass.
Ma'am, do you need help? Blink once for yes.
Luckily, the windows only open a little bit, so no one had to worry.
That is my fear that, like, we're on the 11th floor right now, right? Like, I try to stay away from glass anywhere like above the second floor because I have this, first of all, insane fear of heights. Second of all, I don't trust glass because I'm a Luddite. And I've heard horror stories of people falling out of windows. So
I'm not afraid of falling out the window. If I had a child or a small pet, like a cat, my friend's cat, she opens it like that, likes to hop up and like look out. If I had children, I would be very nervous. But I can't fit out of there. So I'm not going to fall out. I don't like literally lean up against the glass on a regular. I see people leaning up against glass. Nope, please. No, I saw somebody sitting, had taken the screws out because they and was sitting on the ledge.
No,
not trying to hurt themselves to my knowledge, but just thought that was a good idea.
No,
and I thought,
absolutely
wow,
not.
If you fall, I don't even know what to say. But if I saw that again, I'd call the police. That was very scary.
People are not well.
And they were not on the second floor.
Oh,
I know,
gosh.
Right?
I have distinct memories. I used to sing in the choir in church and we were up in the choir loft. So it was like 2-3 stories up. And I have distinct memories of like looking over the edge into the pews below and like getting vertigo. Yeah. Grasping for dear life because I was terrified even then. And there was no chance of me falling, but
you sang up a couple notches then.
I did. I was a tenor in the choir.
Oh, Ralph. Maybe we should have an episode where you sing the introduction.
Nope. Absolutely. We still have to come up with a theme song
in the background.
Hey.
We were talking
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, we were doing that and it was really bad. We have not gotten our jingle.
No, we actually got a letter from the FCC that said, don't ever try that.
And we don't have a mascot either.
We will soon.
That's true. We
will soon.
Oh,
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything, but we will have a mascot coming very soon. And we're not joking. There's actually something coming. Let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
We have guests waiting in the wings. They were kind enough to have us on their show, and it was an absolute blast.
It was.
And then we invited them on our show, and they had a really good question/topic that I'm really interested to dig into. Mm-hmm. So please welcome to our show the hosts of Rotten Treasure podcast, Kai Bobbi and Jim O'Donnell.
Yay!
Yay!
I would clap if that would be.
I instinctively want to like go because that's like how we welcome people. I don't know. Jim, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Had to pull up the sound file.
Yeah, you have to pay for that. I'm sorry.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much again. I'm excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I barely even wanted to show up for a second because I was like, I just want to listen to these two talk forever. Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I can talk forever, so that would be a long forever.
It would be a long forever. Thank you for having us on your show. Again, I want to give you as many plugs as possible. Rotten Treasure. It's an amazing podcast. You know what? You'll explain it better than I can. Why don't you give a little tidbit to the audience of what they can expect when they do listen to your podcast? Because they will.
Absolutely.
Sure. I hope so. Yeah, please come listen to me and Jim. First off, listen to the one episode with the four of us, and then journey into wherever your heart takes you, because we have like a year of just, franchises. Go, Jim, go. What are they?
Oh, geez. Indiana Jones, Home Alone, Aladdin that one time, Lord of the Rings. We did Nightmare on Elm Street with Ralph and Kristin. I'm sure there's other ones I'm missing.
Yep. So you blacking out doing Pitch Perfect. You don't want to talk about it.
God, I completely forgot about Pitch
Perfect. Did you do all three Pitch Perfects?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
That's the point of the show, Ralph.
God bless you.
So yeah, we watch every single installment of a movie franchise, and we bring on honestly that we talk about this and before we get into the recordings with our guests, but we bring on people because we're interested in them and the way, like, interested in having a conversation with them. We find them interesting. And we're just friends and lovely people that we have on. It's a ride. It
was fun for us to watch the movie together because Kristin was not familiar, and I unfortunately was.
Bad movie.
It's terrible. But then it's more about like the conversation that it starts. So it was really nice to just have a really fun conversation with both of you, and that's why I wanted to have you on our show, because we're gonna have another fun conversation.
Yay! I'm guessing we're gonna stay on topic on like our podcast.
No, absolutely.
Great.
Tangent.
Yeah,
Change lanes.
We should rename this show. Hey, let's go on a tangent.
Great,
because that's all that happens.
Yeah.
No, but you had a great idea. And I will let you, Kai, explain it because you came up with it. But what stuck in my head was, since we're three out of the four of us are comedians in some way, shape, or form. You're an honorary.
I think I'm a beginner.
You're a beginner.
I mean, in my own right.
You have, absolutely.
Performance experience.
More seasoned, have more time under our belts. Let me say it that way. But the topic of comedy as armor, comedy as weapon, comedy as umbrella for the storm, whatever the case may be, came up, and it was intriguing to both of us. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to have you both on to kind of talk through why or how does that happen? Like I know a lot of people think that to be a good artist, you need some pain in your life. You know, painter, singer, comedian, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of tragic stories out there. So it's an interesting topic of why is it that pain or tragedy or something makes a good artist or makes a good comedian, and then they use that to kind of armor themselves against other things. And I think that's where
how destructive
it could be. So that I think that's a good place to jump off. Kai, did you want to kind of go into what you were thinking?
Well, yeah, it's kind of pointing to, people, I don't know, just being it kind of like stemmed from, the fact that Jim and I I was trying to think of something that Jim and I could talk about. And originally I wanted to do like about our friendship or about adult friendship. And one of the tying threads I've realized between our friendship is that we used to have very much so similar, like little kid, like run around, like bang, bang, bang. Hey, energy.
We both had a cowboy face. Yeah.
Yeah. And also kind of just like, I don't know, I was the interrupter, barger into the room with like, little funny zingers and then popping out, entertaining my parents kind of kid. And I think we bonded over that. So I was like, oh, that'd be funny to talk about, because like, you brought up tragedy. I love my jaded friends. I find that most of my jaded friends are just very interesting people. And a lot of them are artists and creators and people who have found outlets that really serve them. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I certainly, this topic hits hard for me because I've done it as a coping mechanism for most of my life. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the worst. I'm sure it can be in some ways, but as I understand it, I don't know. I feel like it benefits me in that it constantly keeps me on my toes to be interested and be fascinated and like play and just like, I don't know, go play. Like, I don't know if so I might be rambling here, but kind of explore areas that I may not have had if I hadn't been a little bit jaded by my world. I appreciate the shakeups because it made me into much more of a, I don't know, I'm so worldly. No, but it's given me more experiences in order to just like, you know, feel a little bit more well-rounded out and like try to feel out where I'm at. And oddly enough, really hot, like comic driven people and people who like to laugh with me and like play along. They've really, it's worked out well because they're usually the people who are willing to just like gut themselves and be honest and build honest, genuine relationships with you. They validate your reality and they're not afraid to talk about the bad stuff. So yeah, those are my feelings. I love funny people for the fact that they're just real. And that's where I'm at with that topic at the moment.
Hearing you talk, it made me think about when I was a kid. I am the last of 8 children. So for me, my mom was very tired. So for me,
and busy,
for me, it was kind of like not only standing out in a crowd, but kind of that like running into rooms and like pew, pew, pew. And like, I was like the annoying little brother for a lot of time, but it was just, some of it was finding my place in the pack. Some of it was a buffer for, cause you know, being the younger brother, you get picked on mercilessly. So it was a little bit of that. And then that kind of translated into school because that would same thing would happen in school. And like, oh, if I'm funny, people don't pick on me, you know? So that made me think about that. I don't know. What do you?
No, it's funny. I hadn't thought about this until now. I mean, I've talked about it in different contexts, but I don't think we're a pretty funny family in general, but I definitely am the middle child and I definitely command a lot of attention. And I'm pretty funny and I can be like entertaining. I'm kind of that role in my family. And I think a lot of it has to do with like my birth order and other things that were going on in my family. And that and being heard and seen. Like you want to make sure you're heard and you're seen. Well, there weren't 8 of us, but there were 4. But yeah, I never really thought about it that way in this context, but it's kind of hit me right now because I have talked about that, like how I did that. I still kind of do it. And I do it with friends too. But I like it in some aspects, it's like me, but you know, in other aspects, maybe we look at it a little different.
Yeah. Jim, any family trauma you want to get out while we're talking about it?
Yeah. Hard to say because I had a pretty loving family. I always say I'm the first youngest because my parents had my older sister and then me 18 months later. And then 8 years later, she had 2 other kids.
Okay.
So I was originally the youngest for 8 years. And then all of a sudden I was a middle child. So I kind of grew up the youngest. So I grew up the annoying little brother who was always doing things. But I don't know. I was thinking about this topic before we were going into it. I was like, I don't know if I use humor as like a coping mechanism at all, because I always thought of it as like, well, when I'm happy, I'm funny. And then even thinking that was like, well, maybe that's my way of like justifying that I'm happy. Like, well, you're happy because you're funny right now. And that's that's where the coping mechanism lies. Who's to say?
First? Yeah.
Chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't have the kids where my family was fine. The kids around me were not. They were mean to me. They were the mean people.
Kids are the worst.
Yeah.
They're so mean to each other sometimes.
Absolute worst.
Yeah, don't like them. Not a fan. And then I guess that's where the youth trauma came in.
Glad we got to it.
Yeah, we could circle around to it eventually.
Well, I think that's the other place that people find, you know, I can't speak for everybody who gets into comedy, but you know, that's where I found like, oh, there's something here is in school where, you know, kids pick on each other to kind of find the pecking order, for lack of a better term. And, you know, having that, you kind of separate out into the archetypes of like That's the pretty one, and that's the handsome one. That's the athletic one. That's the funny one. And there's Ralph. He's, you know, we don't know what to do with him. So for me, was like, well, also for me, I had the extra fun layer of I'm either funny or I'm gay. And I would much rather, as for survival, like I'd rather be funny because that forgives a lot of stuff, you know? Sorry, I think I cut somebody off.
No, I almost cut you off because I was about to ask, were you considered the funny one around, let's say, high school or middle school or whatever? Because we're all different people at those different periods.
Right. I won a superlative when I was a senior. Myself and my friend then, Martha Bolak, we were voted most unusual.
Sorry.
That's a nice thing to say, but also kind of backhandedly mean, like a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you got voted as funniest, and I was going to be so mad because I lost funniest because I was in the running, and someone else won because I split the vote with someone else who was also funny.
See, politics are
I don't
a
want
crock.
to share mine.
What did you win a superlative?
It's so
wow, you're amongst
what is
friends.
It? Come on. You gotta.
You don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No,
okay, we can cut it out.
It's fine. It was most polished.
You're most polished.
Oh,
My mother was very happy about.
Like put together.
Yes, because
okay.
like I went to all girls Catholic school, but I always like shaved my legs, did my hair, probably had a little makeup on, like did all that every day, even though I was going to school with all girls. So I don't know how I feel about it.
I was gonna say, did you feel most polished?
I was trying to fit in like every other teenager. I was just trying to be cute amongst my peers because, you know, girls are competitive with one another. And I guess some threw that to the wayside in Catholic school and didn't shave their legs and came in with their hair on their head. But like, I didn't grow up like that. So
I feel a tangent coming on. Forgive me. Do you, when you don't shave your legs now, are you like, oh, thank God? Or is it because it's like, would you care if you never shaved your legs again?
Oh, I don't care.
Really?
It's just part of my own like self-care and the way I feel about myself.
Okay.
It's just like growing up like that and being like that and like doing my face and like getting dressed and looking nice is just kind of like part of like who I am for the most part. I mean, there's moments where it's not so much, but you know, it's just like sort of my personality now. So no, it's not for anyone else. It's not like everyone's touching my leg all day. It's just that I
stop it. Whoever that is.
Yeah.
I like to do it for myself, even in the pandemic. Like,
yeah.
I would just do stuff to feel good about me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Has everyone here ever shaved their legs? Like ever?
What?
Huh?
Has everyone here like ever shaved their legs?
I don't know about y'all, but I lost Jim's video.
Yeah, my video broke. I'm gonna look into it.
I'll still answer your question. Yes, I have, and I didn't really like. I didn't really care for it. It just didn't work for me.
No.
It was one of those things where like it was very much around the time that I was like, all right, cool. I'm non-binary. I'm going to tell people about that. Cool. What should I do differently? You know, what do I have to do? Where's the manual and like stuff to do? And it was one of those things where I just like got to do side by side, and I was like, I'm gonna go with Harry.
Well, you have a choice. I have a choice, but I guess I don't.
Oh no, it's much stricter regulation of norm, but also love. You know, like I feel so good and smooth that I was like, feels good, but a lot of work.
For like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of stubble.
And then it's stubble. You're like, yeah, F that. That's why I usually just keep this going because I don't know. I don't want to deal with constant stubble.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to work with up top, so my face is now my hair expression, and I love it. I love petting it and combing it. When it first grew out, I told Kristin I would just lay on the couch with a comb and just comb it.
It's soothing.
And Dan would be like, "Can you please stop?" It's terrible. Okay. Yeah, I know. I never shaved anything else. I think I tried like a little section of my leg once just to see what it was like. And I was like, no, this, genetics knew what they were doing. These gams look better with hair.
I forget if it might have been
better with a hairless.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have been Jim. I'm not sure who I sent this to. I had an identity thing too, and I shaved half of my chest too, and I did just like one side.
Oh, okay.
It's like when
Oh,
you're
like
doing
40-year-old virgin.
yeah.
I was gonna say like Two-Face.
So they do their Two-Face, but my chest, like my stomach, like all the way. Growing that back was such an awkward phase that I'll just never do it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a learning experience. Yeah.
It's so itchy. Yeah, I
Oh.
once shaved my legs because I was like,
You're
let's see
sure.
what this is like. And then I was like, well, I like it, but that was so much work and I hate this in between part. So I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like I know every guy listening to this or anybody with a hairy chest has shaved their chest at one point, and you know how utterly uncomfortable it is when that stuff starts growing back in, like, and you look like your chest is going through puberty again because it's all like bumpy and ingrown and it's like I can't sleep.
It's
Yeah.
funny because I shaved my legs. I've never shaved my chest before. I was like, oh, get rid of these legs things, but the chest, no, I like how this looks.
Right? It's weird what's socially acceptable. Like
I think it's different now.
it's
just, I mean, I think way more things are, it's gotten a little bit better, I'd say. It's just for me, that's what I do.
I feel like it's just changing, and also depending on the circles. Like I got yelled at by someone just on the internet who was just like, "You're not trans," and I was like, all right, this is interesting. Let's follow where this conversation goes. This could be fun. I was like, cool, what's up? They were like, you have a beard. Stop calling yourself trans. I was like, oh, cool. So I have a beard. I can't be trans. Got it.
right.
I just decided to ask more questions, and it kind of kept going, probably longer than it needed to. But I tried to find the funny in it.
What an interesting gate to install.
Yeah.
Like that's where their line is. No.
I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
But I got what they were saying, like I was like, oh, so you're saying that in a very binary sense that's the limitation for someone to be, trans. And I started asking a lot of questions. I was like, okay, I see that very, like, unfortunately not really open. And I wish that, like, I hope that you find like the ability to like really open that up a bit and, kind of Godspeed.
Good life. Thanks.
Yeah,
kind of.
There's women that have beards.
That's one of the things I brought up. Yes.
Yeah.
A variety of them across the gender spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, beards are not. Why gatekeep beards? Beards do not need our help. Beards are just beards.
I'm not going to get a beard, but if you want to have a beard, have a beard.
I think you would look great in a beard.
Yeah. Well, luckily, there's an app for that. So.
As the only one on the,
I would look good in a beard.
as the only one on the panel without a beard, I think
right.
You need to grow one.
All right, for the show.
Immediately. Just push really hard, see what comes out.
Like beard extensions?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. I think it's is that what you've been doing? Is you just push out your beard? I haven't been trying that.
It's like the Play-Doh men that you push out and it comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I push the back of my head and it starts coming out like that.
Please date us. Getting back to comedy, which what just happened was an example. It's just what I'm talking about.
We're in it.
We avoid hard conversations by taking it on a weird, funny, but also I like to see it this way as, and I think this is probably my improv training kicking in, but when I hear something interesting that comes up in a conversation, I want to explore it because it's interesting. It piqued my interest. My improv brain is like, there's something there. Let's talk about that and explore it. It's going to be fun.
Right.
So in some ways I do see it as a defense mechanism. And in other ways, I just see it as like, oh, it's just like, I've been trained to do that because it's fun for the conversation. But I can see them both as like, yes, but you're doing that because it got uncomfortable.
What? Can I go?
Yeah, please.
Can I have the mic?
Yeah, you can have the mic.
I don't think it's bad or good. I think it's not black and white. It's fine if that's what you're doing in a moment in a space to feel better and as a defense. But if that's all you do and you're never really allowing yourself to feel, you're never really sharing and being vulnerable with others and getting what you need from that, that's when I think it becomes problematic. It also can be, I'm not saying with you guys, but it can be self-deprecating and minimizing. Like I have clients that do this. They're not comedians, but they use humor and play down how they're feeling or put themselves down in a funny way. That's when I think it becomes destructive if that's all you're doing. It's one thing if you do it, but then you're on stage or you're with your improv or comedy friends and you're doing it. But then you're processing it for real. somewhere else. But I think if you're constantly that could be a part of some of our fallen folks that I think some of them have pretty severe addiction and mental health problems, like Robin Williams and Chris Farley and multiple other major talents we lost. And, I often wonder when I see that, like, did they get the help they needed? Were they able to, like, maybe not? And so that's when I think it can become very destructive.
I had a interesting thing with that where I can get very self-deprecating myself. And I always did it because I have a thing where a lot of people think I'm arrogant and think I'm very they think I have this huge head and that I think I'm a golden god, which might be because sometimes I declare that about myself. But
he's always shouting that in the middle of the street. I'm a golden god. I'm like, Jim, you can't.
It's how I end. If I ever have a good show improv, I yell it.
Seen it.
But yeah, I do that a lot because I'm like, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm actually like full of myself. So I'm going to put myself down, and then it gets too far to the pendulum swings all the way to the other end, and then some people are like, you're better than what you talk about yourself, and I'm like, don't do this to me. I can't find that middle ground.
Well, I think I don't want to get too therapy-ish here, but I think it's also, there's a difference between arrogance and braggarty, is that a word?
Sure.
Bragging and confidence. And I think sometimes people get tripped up, and when they're confident and believe in themselves, they think that's being arrogant. And so that's what can then lead to the self-deprecating to try to offset that. And I think that's a shame, because self-confidence is self-confidence, and it's not the same as arrogance. I think arrogance is often stemmed from insecurity anyway. People have to be puffy and blow things up because they really, for real, don't feel good about themselves. Confidence is solid, sound, and quiet.
I'm like kind of worried that I'm too confident, but thank you. I'd rather that than arrogant. But I can't stop. Like, I love to visualize it. So confidence, I'm like the kind of person who like walks into a door without knowing where it's gonna go. Right. And then just like, oh, wrong room, I'll tap dance out. Da, 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 da. So that kind of, is generally how I conversate and connect with people. So I don't know. I sometimes you do this thing where you're like, I guess I'll say it wrong and then comically work my way back. If that makes sense. You ever just like, I don't know. I tend to find the right people to just like let loose, to just like say the rough draft out real easy, and know that we'll be able to like laugh it off, or kind of like laugh off how I oddly said it or oddly put it. They're not going to judge me.
Yeah, and I love going back to childhood trauma because that's where we live.
It's good stuff.
Right, that's where I have a little summer house in the Poconos. Childhood trauma, Pennsylvania. Wonderful.
Make it a thing. People would pay to go there.
It's near Altoona, if you look at it. So I think, just for me personally, speaking for myself, I got into being self-deprecating with humor because I saw other people making fun of me when I was little. And I said, well, I'm just going to own that then. I'm going to take it away from you. I'm going to own that power and make fun of myself before anybody else can. And then I don't have to deal with that trauma of people making fun of me. No, you know what? All those things you were going to make fun of me for, I meant to do that. Already did it. Meant to do it. Funny. Haha. Right.
I remember the second I learned that lesson, because someone had made fun of me for a thing. Oh, I remember. It was some kid. I did something weird because I was a weird kid. You know how you are. Yeah, I said something weird, and some kid was like, "Man, how long did it take for you to escape the insane asylum?" Which terrible joke. Not good.
That's just a bad joke.
Yeah. Not structurally bad, but other reasons as well.
Not a comedian.
No, that was not a comedian.
No, I know
it was. Joe Rogan.
No, there's a drunk person who went to an open mic and just showed up and was like,
You are all nailing the exact personality of this person who said that. And I just remember being like, took a while. And then that guy went, oh my God, he was like, that was actually funny. And I was just like, don't do this to me. That I'm now going to insult myself all the time so that you can't make it seem like I'm this bad on purpose.
Yeah. And I think it's because I've veered into the helping arts, and now I'm like a coach and have my own business and helping people through a lot of this stuff. I've learned to temper my self-deprecating humor, because I realized I was that guy who would walk into bars and hang out with friends, and every word, every line out of my mouth was a joke or a punchline, or like, that's what she said. And like, I realized people were getting sick of it because I was getting sick of it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that guy who people were like, oh, Ralph's going to be at the party. Ugh, gag. You know, I wanted to be welcome, and everybody be like, oh, Ralph's here. Great. We always have a fun time. And a lot of that was me saying, I need to be kinder to myself, and not, there's other ways to be funny and humorous without completely tearing myself apart just because it's comfortable, you know? And I saw myself do that as an extension with me and Dan. Like, we would go out and we would be funny with each other, but we would be like, I'm going to kill you when we get home. And like, I'm going to strangle you. I love you. You know, it's that weird, like,
yeah, I get it.
Violent, fun comedy, like couple thing that people do. And I realized,
and no one's going to find the body. Yeah. No. Okay.
Right. And I realized people weren't laughing along with us. I read people's faces and they were like, ooh, are they mad at each other? And I realized it wasn't translating. We knew we were joking,
right,
but nobody else did. Yeah. And so we temper that as well now, because it's just it's not funny to people. And it's more of like a defense thing than anything. I don't know. Does anybody else do that?
I mean, the fake fights that I have with like friends or partners are usually intentionally to avoid talking to people with clipboards on the street, or just.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah, you just be like, no, I didn't move your chair. Like, why would I move your chair?
Your mom's coming. Yeah, no,
right? No. The more you can absolutely not want to get into it, the better. And also, it's just kind of fun to do it in a supermarket and be like, babe, did you get the yams? It's I also just don't like babe. And sorry if anybody likes calling their partner babe, but I usually do it like jokingly with my like, hey, babe. Babe.
Not your favorite words. Okay.
No, we go with cutie. That's our gender neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, works for us.
I'm always fascinated by another tangent coming, everybody. Tangent alert. I'm always fascinated by how we infantilize the people we love.
I know.
Baby, cutie, little nugget, like little pickle. You know, it's like, why would you want to be in love with somebody who's a little baby? You know.
Hey, but we all do it.
We all do it.
That's I don't, but I just, it doesn't. That's a whole different issue for me. But yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't like the baby doll face.
Good morning, partner.
I'm from it.
Morning, gentlemen.
I just have my cowboy hat.
Howdy, ma'am.
Yeah. Fine person.
Good day, cohabitator.
Yeah. Have you seen my toothbrush, good sir?
It's great.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Oh my god. Oh boy.
I have a thing.
Please.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a burning thing I want to say.
Yes.
I think around this, one of the pieces, if someone is exclusively doing this, where they're minimizing their own feelings and using comedy and self-deprecating, what happens as far as relationships, not just the relationship with yourself, which is you're damaging if that's all you're doing, in my opinion, like you're just putting yourself down all the time, but you're also preventing connection and like more intimacy within the relationships that you have. Because when people play it down or use humor to minimize how they're feeling, then other people receive that like, oh, they're okay. Like they're okay. They're being funny about it. It's not such a big deal. Mm-hmm. Whereas that individual very much might need support and need validation and need that intimacy and connection with somebody, but they're uncomfortable doing so. So it makes somebody that's already possibly struggling, and I'm just as an example, be more isolated and alone with when they really actually need to connect and have the support of others. So that's when it can become really problematic.
No, I love that. And it also trains other people to treat you that way.
Yeah, they're going to think you're always fine. No
Right.
big deal.
Oh, you're so making fun of yourself. I can make fun of you.
Right. You must be fine with it.
If you're slightly off, they make it a big deal. Like, that's not okay to be that too. You know what I mean? Like, if you're downshifting and you're not as peppy, it's okay too. Like, you don't have to constantly be the go funny.
Well, also calling back to what you like, Robin Williams and Chris Farley, you know, those, I can't speak for them, obviously, but from what I know of their stories, there were people who they were struggling, and everybody, like we were talking about, just assumes like, oh, they're fine. Oh, they're partying. They're fine. They're having, they're having a good time. They're good time, Charlie, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, it's damaging to everybody. You know, it's, they, I'm sure felt super isolated because they had this role they had to play and couldn't ask for help because it would be out of character and they would feel out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a famous story of Chris Farley where he like pulled Jim Brewer aside and was like, I'm struggling inside. And then Jim Brewer was like, oh my God, he is struggling.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And well, that goes hand in hand with things we talked about on the show about mental health being devalued in general, like people's mental hygiene, and add on top of that the role that people play of I'm the fun guy, I'm the fun lady, I'm the comedian, you know, I'm the partier, and it's triply hard then to open up to anybody and get the assistance that you need to get on a level plane.
And even I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but like for those people too, they were just
like, let's go on a tangent.
They were just so that was just where they went all the time. So I think even when there were people reaching out to try to help them, they were so uncomfortable with going there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you question for the panel? If you could go back, knowing what you know now, and talk to yourself when you first got into the comedy world, is there anything you would tell yourself to make the ride a little bit easier?
Ralph, you should be on TV with us.
I know, right?
Well, we are. We're on
ABC. We're still reaching out to you.
We've been promoting ABC because they need our promotion so bad.
Wipeout's not doing well.
Oh.
I mean, I think it's advice that I've actually gotten from Jim, which is great to get that kind of direct feedback from your friends, which is that I just, you know, generally that I don't need to be funny and don't try to hit with like hard hitting topical, like basically it's kind of like that movie I Love You Man, where it's just like do less. Well, you got to do more than that. Like Jim's just thank you, Jim, for helping me in a non-judgmental way to be curious about ways to just not try so hard, because nobody likes to watch someone try that like desperately hard on stage. It's an awkward thing, and you're like, you don't have to, just be in the scene regularly and stop twirling and being, you're like, did you hurt yourself? Like that was a thought I'm pretty sure most of the audience thought in my like 101, like, are you okay?
Oh yeah, someone told a story, a tangent. Someone told a story about they were conducting a 101 class, and at some point a guy fell over and smashed his head into the wall, and there was a huge hole in the wall, and like the guy pretended like he was like knocked out from it, and the person running the class was like, okay, bit's over, get up. And then the person didn't get up because they were like sticking to this bit, and the person was like, no, seriously, you're right. And they were like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, I was just being funny because it's a 101 class.
Yeah, I think I would give myself the advice I tell my 101 classes. Number one, this is not therapy, right? If you need therapy, please go see a therapist like Kristin, because they are trained to handle this.
Do that.
I am a comedy teacher. I am not prepared to handle your trauma. I got enough of my own. I do not need yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hands to yourself. And I would say what you both said, like, don't try so hard. You know, we admire comedians, like think of any comedian you admire or love watching in TV or movies or whatever. They've been doing it so long, it feels effortless. And that comes with patience and practice and doing it long enough where you realize I don't have to force it. I don't have to be funny all the time. I don't have to look for the punchline. It should feel effortless. It feels like it's just, you know, part of the conversation, part of the world we live in. And that's there's like a certain kind of zen, I think, that happens when you reach that point where if I could go back and tell myself, don't try so hard, just let it happen and it'll happen. You don't need to force it. Yeah. What would you tell yourself if you went back?
Well, not a comedian.
10 years.
I mean, you did say you were the funny one. So, I mean, you're the comedian in your family.
We're holding you to it.
When you get to call yourself a comedian is very weird. And I'm sure we all have feelings about it. So,
right?
Yes, we're deciding today you are a comedian.
Yeah.
Wait, everyone here considers themselves comedians? Oh.
We're gatekeeping that now. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we decided.
You're
welcome.
Something you've learned now to be more like Zen that you could give yourself a little pro tip 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think that like you don't always have to be funny and always be the center of attention to feel included and feel like part of the group or the family or whatever it is. I think that would probably be what I've learned.
Is it the reaction you get from people that makes being the comedian so? I know we've covered like the self-defense part of it, but there is that part of like, ooh, people, I'm getting a reaction from people. People are laughing. People are happy.
Yeah.
Because I know just from going through trauma myself, I'm that people pleaser that's like, everybody happy? Y'all good? You got drinks, food? Everybody's okay? Everybody's happy? Great. I'm safe. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just knowing everybody's happy. Everyone's having a good time. You know, middle child, they're paying attention to me.
Right.
You know? Yeah. That's what I was
saying. Does that strike a chord with either of you two about the like people pleasing and like, oh, everybody's happy? Okay, I'm safe. I don't have to worry.
It's interesting you say that. One time someone had asked me, are you funny because you like making people happy? Or are you funny because you want people to think you're funny? Like, do you want that? And I was like, I had a real hard thought about myself and I was like, I want people to think I'm funny. I don't necessarily want them to be happy. It's nice when people are happy, but
right.
That was a hard thing I had to think about myself. I was like, oh no, is this a thing that I've internalized? That I just want. I guess I want more a center of attention type of thing than a people pleaser. Sounds like Ralph. It sounds like you might
absolutely
be the other end.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I got into it and I can't remember who it was, but I heard somebody talk about this and I was like, I'm checking all these boxes, something else to add to my portfolio. Where if I walk into a room, I am so attuned to how everybody else is feeling and acting. Like, I don't want to say the empath thing because that's a little too overused right now, but I always focus in on that one person that looks like they're not having a good time because that's where the thread is for me. It's like, ooh, I got to make sure that person's happy because honestly, then I can relax.
Their perspective is probably the most interesting one at that at that event. You're like, I don't know. I'm always, I feel you. I'm drawn to that person too. You're like, oh, all right. This person's also scoping out this whole space. I wonder what they're thinking.
I do the same thing, not as a comedian.
Right.
If I see someone that seems uncomfortable or maybe not good, I'm gonna gravitate towards them and try to make them feel good.
Right, because go ahead.
I was gonna say I can only do that if I'm comfortable myself. Like if I'm in a new group, I can't do that. I am the person who's out. But if I'm comfortable in a group and then a new person comes in, I want to do my best to make sure that person doesn't feel like an outcast.
That makes sense.
I mean, I was actually a food server, so is everyone and everything okay is generally a vibe for comedy, and also it's found its way into my work as well. But I think that would be a big reason why I enjoy humor and why I go to it is that I just, for the most part, I want to make sure everyone in the circle's doing okay. Checking in, you guys are good, everyone's fine, all right. Everyone laughed at that. You're not laughing. What's going on? Okay? My joke might be bad, but if I know it's good, I'm like, there's something. I gotta go talk to this friend.
It also made me think maybe that's why I don't like prank shows. bad grandpa or like the ones where people don't know they're being made fun of.
Yeah.
And like, I don't like them. Number one, because a lot of them just aren't funny. I'm not saying any names, but you know who you are. But also, it just makes me uncomfortable because I want everybody to be in on the joke. And I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable of like, I don't know what's happening. And it's not funny for somebody's confusion to be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I struggle with that. Yeah. Not doing it, but I hate seeing it. I always want to like get the person out of there that seems to be having that happen to, especially I'm going back to waiting tables, but I know that person who's trying to be the life of the party and in a very uncomfortable way for a lot of people. And I'm just like, come with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Away.
Yeah. I think we've all had that, you know, like the joke going too far of like, okay, you're just baiting a dead horse now. Let's go get you some water. Yeah.
Oh, you mean all of elementary school for me? Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
Or these kids just drinking too much chocolate milk and just getting sassy. You're like, come on, you got to calm down.
Yes, absolutely. What do you anything bubbling up for you?
No, I feel like we've hit some interesting points and been lots of places today.
We wrung all of the dishwater out of the rag.
That's how
for
I'm
tonight.
feeling.
Any final thoughts rattling around in the panel's brain?
I had a question actually, because
sure.
I thought of this a little while back, and you know, once again, we're all comedians here, so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I know your partners or past partners, but I'm wondering, do y'all tend to date other funny people or comedians, or not really? Right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. Jim, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that Rachel's not funny. Rachel's funny, but I'm just
don't make me say that on recording.
No, but I mean, like, people. I'm talking about I'm not saying funny people are not funny. Comedians are not comedians. Is really what I mean. Like people that are actively doing the comedy, or like
a comedy friend, a mutual comedy friend of all of ours is one time said, yeah, there's a difference between dating a comedian and dating a normal person. And like, it's not necessarily like, it's not like, it's just different. It's not better or worse.
Yeah.
I think I like when somebody's funny. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nope, that was it.
I do like somebody that's funny. If somebody doesn't have any funny going on and they're too intense, I don't like that. But then I don't need somebody to be a comedian. I just need somebody to, of course, think I'm funny.
I steal my best jokes from my partner. My partner's like actually the funny one.
You know, have some funniness about you.
That's everybody looks for that on their dating profiles. I want somebody funny who can make me laugh, but you don't want to date a comedian, do you, Sarah? Right? There's like a line. There's a fine line. And I don't think I've dated a comedian. But if Dan's
funny though.
Dan's funny.
He's not a comedian.
He's fine. He's okay. He'll listen to this.
I think he's funny.
He'll listen to this. We'll have a discussion. It's fine.
I know.
But I think I like somebody with a different kind of trauma than I have. So I don't think I could date a comedian because it would be like too much of the same stuff.
Yeah. It's like when you're hanging out with a comedian, it's just like everyone's doing a bit. And you're just like, can we just talk as people? Like, I remember when I first started doing comedy, I was like, oh, these comedians are just going to want to be doing bits all the time. Bits. It's going to be fun. And I could see very quickly how everyone was like, I am so annoyed by all these bits that are going on. Please just talk to me like a real person.
Yeah.
You're striking on it. I think home I think it's what it is. I don't want home to have to be funny. And I appreciate that about my partner. That's just like, I'm not saying they're not funny. Once again, they literally, one of the best jokes actually that I'm gonna literally tell everybody is they're like, I got into comedy only because, not because I like stand-up or I want to be up here, but just because I want to show my partner how annoying it is to date a stand-up comedian. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I was like, that's funny. And I love it because I don't know how to put it. So I love hanging out with someone who's not like the exact opposite of trying constantly and just is naturally just every now and then with these hilarious, just like blow me over laughter moments. I had a problem with my cat Harrison because he was just being a pain in the butt, like jokingly. I was just like, I got to ask you, Oliver, just be real with me. What is your problem? Which yelling at a cat, I don't actually mean it like fake yelling and like fake argument. And they just came up behind, they're like, yeah, like they just yes and it so hard. I was like, are we really going to bully our son right now? But I appreciated the like. I died. I was just like, I didn't even know they were home. I was just like, where did this backup come from?
There's backup.
You know?
We don't want to take work home with us, and I think dating a comedian when you are a comedian or in the comedy or entertainment world, I think is too much. Like you need a respite, and I think the other person appreciates that too. Like I don't know a lot of people who share the same profession with each other. Like if you're a doctor, you don't want to come home and talk doctor with another doctor, no matter what Grey's Anatomy tells us. Doctor, you know what I mean? Like you want to mix it up a little bit. So that's another thing I think of why I don't want to date a comedian, just because it's too much.
And Dan wouldn't appreciate
it if I dated a comedian.
Yeah. I'm around myself all the time. I don't need another of me.
Folks, this has been fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to be mindful of our time, because we could literally talk to you both for another 5 hours, because this has been great. Time for plugs. So if you have anything going on jointly or separately, now's the chance to tell everybody where they can see you or read you or watch you or listen to you.
Jim, do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it?
You start doing it, because I got to look up what they're all called on socials.
Cool. Jim has time to do the socials. I will just say that we are called Rotten Treasure, again, not Rotten Treasures, as we've accidentally even called ourselves. Listen to our early episodes. We did it a lot. Excuse me, Jim did it a lot. Well, you introduced the show. He brings us in. But yes, every Thursday, we at least try every Thursday. It's been pretty good lately to get out an episode. We are going through currently Nightmare on Elm Street, as once again you were on. So, feel free to come in on Nightmare on Elm Street. Feel free to go all the way back to like Home Alone, listen to stuff you wouldn't expect to enjoy. Like, why do you need to know about content from, Tremors 5, Cold Blood? Is that what it was called, Jim?
No, Cold
Bloodlines.
Hell.
Yeah, no, Bloodlines. 5. 5 was
yeah.
Bloodlines. It's where you find out Jamie Kennedy is Burt Gummer's son, which, by the way, I just ruined that for everyone listening to this. But
I'm gonna quotes ruin that.
I've never seen a Tremor.
You can't ruin it any more than the filmmakers already have.
Come find out random spoilers like that, and and also just have off-topic conversations about, like, Jim, what tragedies have happened in your life that have made it on to the podcast?
Oh, are you talking about that time I talked about when I pooped my pants on the way to Lancaster? Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you want to listen to that, just you have to listen to every episode we have to find that story. Jim, did you find our socials or what?
Yeah, I did. It's Rotten Treasure on Facebook, Rotten_Treasure on Instagram, and I don't know the Twitter because I don't do Twitter.
It's either Rotten Treasure Podcast or Rotten Treasure. You know how to find stuff. We got a couple videos going on TikTok. Do that. And also just follow us around. If you're in Philadelphia, creep on Jim. I know. Can I say his address on the podcast? Are we like?
No, don't say my address.
I'm gonna say no to that.
Okay.
That's why I'm getting a PO box.
Aside from that, go out and support your performer friends. The ways you can, and the ways you feel safe, and the ways that feel safe. Especially right now, a lot of people are going back to like online stuff. Support your friends' online stuff. It's back up. And then it's going to be a little back and forth, I'm sure, for a hot minute. So, be out here to help each other and like each other's creative content.
Absolutely. And we will share all of the Rotten Treasure social medias on the show notes so people can get them. Jim, do you have anything specifically for you or together with Kai that you want to plug?
Yes, this is sort of Kai's name is actually still on our Instagram. You can go. I am on an improv team that Kai used to be on until they left us and went to Minnesota. But it's Daddy Issues Improv on Instagram, and then Daddy Issues. I looked it up and I forgot it already. Mm-hmm. It's on Facebook. Daddy Issues Improv Comedy on Facebook. That's a way to support local comedians. And also, if Ralph ever does another thing, go see him, because as someone from our improv team once said, the legendary Ralph Andracchio.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stop
I
it.
don't know. You might be on a whole other level of famous in the improv world that I'm not privy to.
Stop it. Oh,
He
that's very
usually
nice.
wears like a crown, so it's weird
Oh.
to see you without it, Ralph.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I haven't
we're-
gotten into the inner circle enough. To
I
do
want
that.
to. I want to graduate to being that performance teacher that just shows up in a beret and sunglasses and a scarf with a Starbucks and just sits in the back of the room like, just warm up. I don't care.
I thought you were gonna be like, you show up and then people start doing comedy and then you throw a chair and you go, it's crap.
Yeah, like throw down like a cigarette you just lit, you know?
Yeah.
Did I walk onto the set of Friends? This is terrible.
you grab someone's face and you're like, you're not feeling.
Oh man, see, we could do this for
My
literally
face
5
hurts,
other
I know
hours.
that. My face
All right, you two stick around. Everybody who's listening to the podcast, thank you so much. If you want to get in touch with Kristin or I, all of our contact information is on the website. So check that out. And that's it.
See you next time.
See you next time, everybody. On
Bye.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Hey.
I don't know. I'll work on that. Good
do have a
night,
beautiful
everybody.
voice.
Hey,
Yay, excellent. Thank you.
Jim
Oh.
did ours. If you need Jim to come up with something at like 3 a.m. and send it to you with a Facebook audio message, that's what he did for ours.
Thank you both. This was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I forgot to mention I do
Stop
need
my audio.
headshots.
Sure.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, I gotta take new ones then.
I'm
Oh.
putting everything together tomorrow. So if you can
Okay.
get me something either tonight or early tomorrow, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
It doesn't
sun
have
is
to be
good.
it doesn't have to be like a professional one, like something where you think you look nice. That's great.
Great.
I'm gonna use the one that I've been using that Kai made me take 1,000 of.
Which was
It was the one when we announced we were adding 5 new people, and you were like, "Take a good picture of yourself." And then I sent you like a half-assed one, and you were like, "I said take a good picture of yourself." And then
I'm sorry.
I did it for like an hour, and before Kai was like, "Good."
I'm sorry. I demanded a certain level of equal quality photograph, and I apologize. I just felt like there was a way to feature you that it was much more flattering and like celebrates who you are.
And I thank you because I use it for everything now because it's
Hell yeah.
a very good picture of myself.
I'm a stubborn person and will make someone take the same photograph at least 10 times to get it right. I'm sorry. That's who I am now.
No, but I think we all need some good headshots in our life.
Loosen up. Yeah.
This person here needs some. I've been using the same pixelated one that you sent me.
I know. I could get my friend Nikki to take pictures of me.
Yes,
She's
please.
the one that's up for the ones from my website.
Okay,
Well, speaking
yeah.
of pixelated and also your headshots, did you see, did you show Kristin the photograph that I was going to use for promo?
Shit, I
You should
did
probably make sure that's okay. I'm so excited to see this live react. Yay.
This is going to be when you advertise our.
It would be what would be in our social media. But also we don't have to. I can give you options. Oh, actually, I think I had 2 other options that aren't that. But
Yeah, the other ones look
from
good
the
too.
movie, right?
what's up? Oh, let me grab my phone. Do you love? Unless you love it, because the other ones are good
so
too.
Silly. I don't care. Yeah. That's
Yeah?
fine.
Okay.
I'll
good.
send you the other ones anyways, so you can look at them later and let me know.
My head definitely doesn't look attached to that.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's literally it's in a way where clearly Freddie's like not turned the same way you're.
We're not good at it, and I think
That's
that
funny.
enhances
No,
the
I like
joke.
That's the point. That's why look at all of them on our Insta. They're all terrible.
That's great.
I
yeah,
think it's
great. The other one I think was
oh,
for sure. I got the other ones, and I'll send those to you too. I think one of them's to Freddie with the leg up on the playing the game, but it's y'all on the TV instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
That
from
one was good
from
too.
one of your Instagram shots where y'all are. It's a live shot of y'all talking from like for your podcast.
Okay.
So I thought that was cute too. So yeah, you let me know which one you want. But I was like, this is so hard to get a not pixelated at like cutting you out of that photograph of you on the couch with a bunch of people at Fit was like.
Oh, yeah. That was a Herculean task.
I mean, once again, I didn't do it in Photoshop. I did it through Snapchat and like some weird downloaded thing I got where it's supposed to get rid of the background on my phone. Like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.